As a psychologist, I often receive the same question over and over again, especially from men. Why are women so hard to understand? This question isn't really about women being complicated, but rather about how women experience and process emotions differently. Many women's secrets are never revealed directly, not because they want to hide them, but because they often struggle to express their feelings in words. Behind their gentle demeanor, smile, or even assertiveness lies a world of highly active emotions. Women live with emotions that are constantly moving, analyzing, and responding deeply to their surroundings. This is often misinterpreted as being too sensitive, when in fact, they are simply more emotionally sensitive. 1. Women feel deeper, not weaker. One of women's greatest secrets is that they feel everything with greater intensity. When a woman loves, she doesn't act half-heartedly. She absorbs her partner's mood, energy, and attitude, even from the smallest details that are often overlooked. Their tone of voice, their response to texts, and even their body language are sources of emotional information for them. However, this ability to feel deeply is often mistaken for weakness. Psychologically, empathy and emotional sensitivity are forms of high emotional intelligence. Women aren't weak because they feel strongly. In fact, that's where their strength lies. 2. Women are more likely to bottle up than to complain. Many people think women like to complain. In fact, most women actually bottle up too many feelings. They suppress disappointment, delay anger, and cover up hurts to keep relationships going. A woman's silence is often not a sign of composure, but rather a sign of emotional exhaustion. Psychologically, women tend to internalize conflict. They ask themselves, am I overreacting? Or am I wrong to feel this way? When a woman finally speaks, it's usually not a fleeting reaction, but rather the accumulation of long-held feelings. 3. Women highly value emotional security. Another little-known secret is that women love through a sense of security. They may be attracted to looks, status, or intelligence, but what keeps them going is a sense of emotional security. It's safe to be yourself, safe to feel vulnerable, and safe to be honest without fear of judgment. For women, consistency is more important than big promises. A stable presence, predictable behavior, and genuine empathy are far more valuable than empty romantic words. When that sense of security is lost, the feeling of love slowly fades, even if logically the relationship is still fine. 4. Women remember hurts longer than they admit. Psychologically, women's emotional memories tend to be stronger. They may forgive, but they don't always forget. Wounds that others perceive as minor can linger in their minds, especially if they come from someone they trust. It's not that women are vindictive, but rather that their brains store emotions as a protective mechanism. When women appear to change, become distant, or colder, it's often a subconscious response to protect themselves from experiencing the same pain again. 5. Women don't want to be saved, they want to be understood. One of the biggest mistakes in understanding women is the desire to always fix their problems. Many women aren't looking for instant solutions. They're looking for understanding. When women share their feelings, what they often need isn't advice, but emotional presence. As a psychologist, I've seen that women feel valued when their feelings are validated. A simple phrase like, "I understand why you feel that way," has a far greater psychological impact than a cold logical solution. 6. Women change when they feel no longer heard. Changes in women's attitudes rarely happen suddenly. It's a long process. They start speaking, then aren't heard. They try to explain, then are ignored. Until finally, they choose to remain silent and withdraw. Psychologically, the most dangerous phase in a relationship isn't when women get angry, but when they stop caring. Because when women stop demanding, stop explaining, and stop reacting, it's often a sign that they're ready to leave emotionally. 7. Women are highly sensitive to sincerity. Women have keen emotional intuition. They can sense sincerity from actions, not just words. They easily detect inconsistencies between words and actions. This is why even a small lie can significantly damage trust. Trust is a fundamental foundation for women. Once it's broken, rebuilding it takes time, consistency, and patience. However, once trust is maintained, women's loyalty can be incredibly strong. 8. Women love with their whole identity. When women love, they give not only their time, but also their emotions, attention, and identity. They remember small details, support silently, and love even when they're tired. However, when they feel their love is unappreciated, their self-esteem is hurt. Psychologically, women often link their self-worth to the quality of the relationships they build. Therefore, unhealthy relationships can have a significant impact on their self-confidence and mental health. 9. Women's biggest secret. They want to be loved without having to change. Ultimately, women's biggest secret is a simple desire: to be loved for who they are. They want to be accepted with all their emotions, flaws, and uniqueness. Not to be expected to be perfect, but to be understood as whole human beings. Understanding women isn't about controlling them, but about building empathy. When someone truly understands a woman's emotional world, the relationships they create will be more mature, healthy, and respectful.